Since the inception of the St. Louis Cardinal Hall of Fame in 2014, the institution has seen exactly 50 inductees, a veritable who's who of Cardinal greatness. Back in February of 2023, the newest slate of nominees were announced, with fan voting beginning on February 25th and ending on April 21st. This year, there are 5 Cardinal greats to choose from. In this video, we'll make the case for each nominee's potential inclusion in the hallowed Red Jacket Club. The talent on this list is both varied and deep, and it runs across generations, with Redbird legends from the 1960s through the 2010s. All the nominees are solid choices, but ultimately, the decision is yours. Here are the 2023 Cardinals Hall of Fame nominees. Steve Carlton did most of his best work when he wasn't playing for the Cardinals. The left-handed pitcher started his career with the Redbirds in 1965 and played in St. Louis until 1971, but his list of post-Cardinals accomplishments includes a Gold Glove, a Triple Crown, a World Series championship, 4 Cy Youngs, 7 All-Star appearances, 4 seasons as the National League wins leader, and 5 seasons as the National League strikeout leader. That's quite the list of accolades, and he accomplished most of them with the Philadelphia Phillies, earning him a spot in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Still, Carlton's early years as a Cardinal are nothing to scoff at. He was a 3-time All-Star with the club in 1968, 1969, and 1971, and he won a World Series with St. Louis in 1967. He only started in 1 World Series game, and he lost the game, but it wasn't really his fault. The Cardinals only managed to muster 1 run on 3 hits for Carlton in the 3-1 loss. Carlton posted some stellar career numbers with the Redbirds during his 7 years in St. Louis, including a 2.17 ERA through 31 starts in 1969, and a 27-win season in 1971 through 37 starts. Though his best work came in Philly, Steve Carlton would still be a welcome addition to the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame. Joaquín Andújar is sort of the anti-Carlton. He played 13 years in the big leagues as a right-handed starter, and his time with St. Louis was sandwiched right in the middle of those 13 years. But his 5 years as a Cardinal were undeniably the best of his career. Andújar was a 4-time All-Star, 2 of which came with the Cardinals in 1984 and 1985. He also won a World Series with the club in 1982, a Gold Glove with the Cards in 1984, and led the National League in wins in 1984 with 20. Just how instrumental was Joaquín in the Cardinals' 1982 World Series win? Very, it turns out. As the Game 3 starter, he picked up the win against the Milwaukee Brewers, allowing only 2 runs on 5 hits. He also picked up the win in the pivotal Game 7, going 7 innings and earning only 2 runs to help capture what was, at the time, the 9th World Series win in franchise history. Andújar's best regular season career numbers came with the Cardinals. He won over 20 games on 2 occasions, with 21 wins in 1985 and 20 wins in 1984. He posted a minuscule 2.47 ERA in 1982 through 38 games. His 1984 season also saw him earn 147 strikeouts, and the only 4 times he cleared 100 or more strikeouts in his career was during his 4 years with the Cardinals. He may have spent some time in Houston and Oakland, but he did his finest work with the Redbirds, and as such, he's more than earned his red jacket. Rounding out our list of pitcher nominees, Matt Morris was a stellar and consistent starter during the late 90s and early 2000s. At his regular season best, Morris earned 22 wins through 34 starts in 2001, struck out 185 in that same season, and posted a 2.53 ERA in 1998. He also came just shy of 1,000 strikeouts as a Cardinal, managing 986 through his 8 seasons wearing the birds on the bat. Morris managed to put together a decent portfolio of awards for himself during his time as a Cardinal. He was an All-Star in 2001 and 2002. He was the National League wins leader in 2001, and during that same year, he placed 3rd in the National League Cy Young voting. The Cards managed to reach a World Series during Morris's tenure with the team in 2004, but they would be swept by the Red Sox. Morris's loss came during the infamous bloody sock game against fellow starter Curt Schilling. This year's ballot of nominees is only the 10th ever in the history of the Cardinals Hall of Fame, and Matt Morris has been on 8 of those 10 ballots, the same number of years he was with the team. His contributions helped the Cardinals to stay relevant around the turn of the century, and it's high time he's enshrined as one of the greatest ever to wear the birds on the bat. Edgar Renteria was a bit of a journeyman in Major League Baseball. He played with the Marlins, Red Sox, Braves, Tigers, Giants, Reds, and Cardinals, and some of his finest work of his career came in St. Louis. Renteria was a 5-time All-Star, with 3 of those appearances coming during his time as a Cardinal. He also won the Silver Slugger Award on 3 separate occasions and earned 2 Gold Gloves, collecting all that hardware in a Cards uniform. Renteria's numbers as a Cardinal were some of the best of his career, averaging 162 hits per year, with 194 in his 2003 season, and about 78 RBIs per year, with 100 in his 2003 season, the highest number of runs he'd ever batted in. He slugged an average of .423 with the Redbirds, posted an average on-base percentage of .349, and, for those of you doing the math at home, he averaged a solid .772 OPS. Arguably his biggest accomplishments, his 2 World Series championships, came in the second year of his career and the second to last year of his career, earning a ring with the Florida Marlins in 1997 and the San Francisco Giants in 2010. That 2010 World Series saw Renteria walk away with the World Series MVP honors, a fitting penultimate season for an incredible ball player. He was instrumental in the Cardinals' 2004 World Series run, too, in which the team was unfortunately swept by the Red Sox. With a trophy case full of awards, and a number of accolades both with the Cardinals and with other teams, Renteria would look fitting in a red jacket. David Freese really doesn't need an introduction for Cardinals fans, but we'll give him one anyway. He played in the majors for 11 years, 5 of which he spent with his hometown St. Louis Cardinals. His career numbers were more or less consistent across all the teams he played for, averaging about 100 hits per season, about 50 RBIs, and a career batting average of .284. His stats aren't as good as someone like Renteria's, and though it's hard to compare pitchers and fielders statistically, it's arguable that guys like Steve Carlton, Joaquín Andújar, and Matt Morris had a greater impact on the club on a per-game basis. Freese's career numbers always hovered close to the league average, but the improbable story he helped to write is what cements his legacy. Out of the playoff picture by 10.5 games in late August of 2011, Freese and the Cardinals rallied throughout September to just barely squeak into the postseason. From there, the rest is history. The Cardinals went on to beat Philadelphia in the NLDS, Milwaukee in the NLCS, and Texas in the World Series. Down to their last strike in an elimination Game 6 at Busch Stadium, Freese tripled to tie the game, and later ended that same game with a walk-off homer to straightaway center. A Hollywood screenwriter literally could not have written a better story, as the Redbirds would go on to win their 11th World Series title, and Freese walked away with a World Series championship and the World Series MVP after having won the NLCS MVP against Milwaukee. While Freese's career numbers weren't exactly crazy, in baseball, all it takes is a couple of months to become a legend. And whether it's this year or sometime in the future, David Freese will be sporting a red jacket someday soon. So who do you think deserves to be voted in by the fans this time around? Every one of these guys deserves a shot, so be sure to go online and cast your vote before midnight on April 21st. Thanks for watching, and let's go Cardinals.